The big question is, are you in here because you care, or are you just in here because it's wet?
And you forgot your brolly.
Thank you. Two of you are in here because you're interested. We'll do our best to entertain you. I need to say, my good friend Peter agreed to do this talk. He has no idea what we're going to talk about. I have prepared a list of my thoughts and our trusty cart with some examples in, and he's no idea what's in there. So this should be fun.
But equally, I've got my revenge, because I've got a bag of things that I grabbed out of my van.
That's your dirty
yesterday.
washing.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And I stuck those in a Waitrose bag 2 minutes before I left yesterday.
It had to be Waitrose, didn't it? Wouldn't ever be Lidl.
Oh, no.
Not from Peter Vaughan. This is the busiest talk Peter's ever attended. Anyway, thanks for coming in. So we are going to go through, as Michael says, a list of accessories that hopefully we both agree are essential, useful, then some accessories that are maybe nice to have, and then some which we think are probably think twice about. Is that okay? Anyone here with a motorhome for the first time, or very recently bought a motorhome, rather, I should say? A lot of you, excellent. Anyone here to buy a motorhome, doesn't own one yet? A few of you, excellent. Well, this should be topical for you. Should I kick off?
Yeah.
So this is actually from the back of my motorhome, which is here, hence it's not very clean. It's what's called a levelling ramp. Now, to some of you, this might be like teaching granny to suck eggs, but these are essential, I think. People are nodding. Levelling up is really important because it means you sleep better, the sink's empty and the shower empties, and you don't lose your G&T across the table. Most important of all.
But more important than that is actually using them properly. Because I go on campsites and people are parked on those and actually made the van less level than if they hadn't used them in the first place.
I've seen them here. It's like that. It's like, why have you done that?
Yeah.
Just doesn't like her. Wants to roll out of the bed.
Or maybe to get her to roll towards you for a cuddle.
Oh, now you're talking. Now, somewhere in here there is, so I'm not going to find everything, is a spirit level. Never mind. We all know what a spirit level is. Now, my advice is buy a plastic one. So you can go to B&Q and buy a plastic one. Don't buy a metal one because they'll scratch the worktop. But buy one that's like that. You can buy those little ones that are T-shaped, which are all right for leveling a record player, but they're not that useful, are they, really? I prefer the bigger ones where you get some proper level.
Or you could be cheap and cheerful and just use a coin and see if it rolls across the table.
Yeah. Or use a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
A glass of water, gin, works just as well. Next up, we're going to fly through this pretty quickly and we'll have questions at the end. Hookup cable. So if you're going to go onto a campsite or somewhere where you can hook up, really important. These tend to be sold in two lengths. Why it's 10 metres and 25 metres, I've never known, because I've actually taken, this is a 25 metre cut down. So we've got a 20 and a 5 for just those times where we're right next to the power socket, and then the times where it's not quite long enough. And then
don't get the 10 metre one. I picked up a van for test recently, and the dealer said, "You've got a mains lead, don't need to worry about that." Got to the campsite, 10 metre one, which feels like a piece of string. Didn't reach the bollard, had to move on to a different pitch, and fortunately the campsite wasn't completely full.
Not long enough.
Managed to find a pitch where the lead would actually reach.
One of these is really useful as well for when you're at home, so you can hook up and plug in, charge everything up before you leave home. You can buy a European version as well with a Schuko plug, the little 2-pin adapter, so they're really useful as well, aren't they? Right, okay. Where's my little box now? Bear with me. This is like Christmas. So one of these is dead handy. We do sell these at that leisure shop when we're here, if you'd like to buy one. This is a socket tester, and it will tell you whether you've got reverse polarity, whether an earth has come off, whether a neutral's come off. They're about 10 quid. You plug it in. My advice is, and I give this in my Prepare to Go to Europe talk, because I always recommend taking one of these when you go to Europe, but use it here as well in the UK, is test the socket before you even plug the van in. So buy a little adapter, which is the opposite of this. So you've got the blue plug and the 13 amp socket. Plug that into the campsite and test the campsite before you even hook up your van. And then plug it in the end of your hookup lead. Test your hookup lead. Then plug the hookup into the van and test every socket in the van. Does that make sense? Have you heard that before?
No.
See, I love it, yes.
I think I'm too lazy to do all that.
But they're a tenner. But you could get an electric shock if you've got the live and neutral around the wrong way. So they're a must-have.
And I think I've got one of these in the garage somewhere.
Yeah, of
But
course
because
you
my
have.
van's got a solar panel on the roof, I never ever
Okay.
plug in at home.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It just keeps it.
Well, how do you get the fridge going before you go? You just run it on gas?
No, it's a compressor fridge.
Oh, of course it is. So a compressor fridge runs on 12 volt, which will flatten the leisure battery quite quickly unless you've got solar.
Yeah.
So that's where hooking up can be really useful as well. Right. The other one I wanted to bring up was gas. Now, when you buy a motorhome for the first time, it probably won't come with gas bottles. It's a bit like buying a motorhome without steering wheel. It's really annoying. And there's been a bit of a calamity with gas recently. Cala imploded and supply chain was a nightmare. Then they decided we're not going to supply the little red bottles and the little blue bottle anymore. And then they said, oh no, we've changed our mind, we're going to now. It's been a nightmare. So the important thing with gas is make a decision as to which type of gas you're going to use on the van. If you've got a VW type product, you will need the little bottle, which is still very hard to get hold of, or you'll need to use camping gas. So it's about buying the right one of these, the little regulator that goes on the end of your orange hose called a pigtail. So anything you want to add on gas?
No. Apart from, with the smaller vans, you're often stuck with camping gas because nothing else will fit.
Yeah.
And those you can change abroad, whereas the Cala cylinders you can't.
Cala is UK only. So if you're going to the continent, camping gas is a good idea, or a refillable bottle, because refillable gas is much more commonplace on the continent than it is here. But that's a whole nother presentation, which we'll leave for another day. Food grade hose. Now, I forgot to bring it from my van, but people would take the garden hose. Anyone use the garden hose to fill the van before they head off on a trip? There's a few guilty people. So the risk of that is that the water's lived in that hose for some time and bacteria will form. The other thing with a garden hose is they have a Hessian lining inside, so bacteria can cling to it. A food grade hose is completely smooth and it's blue. And because the water then will free flow. Before you ever use it, make sure you run the tap through it, cold water for about 10, 20 seconds, just water the plants or whatever you're doing, wash the wheels, and then shove it in the refill point and make sure the end is clean. We actually have an end on our van that doesn't go anywhere other than in a bag that we keep separate because that's what comes into contact with the refill point. Mrs. Motorhome Matt is very fussy because she's worried that the hose goes on the floor and I've stood on it and then I'm going to shove it in her mouth, basically. So, not quite, but you know what I mean. Have some of that. So be hygienic with your water, which takes us to this stuff. This is Puriclean, which is just rebranded. There used to be kind of a blue colour. Have you used this stuff?
I haven't.
Why not?
Don't know. Tell me why I should.
I asked Peter when we were planning this talk. Well, we weren't even planning it.
No.
Peter was in Dusseldorf
Yeah.
at the big motorhome show there a few days ago, and we had a phone call, and I said we're giving this talk on accessories together, and Peter said I haven't got any. I travel really light, and I've got loads. So I said, well, okay, but this stuff's really good for cleaning your freshwater tank. So we do ours once, maybe twice a year, and you pop it in your freshwater tank, run the taps. And just run it through the system. And you can ingest this. There is a very slight chlorine taste, I think, but I drink out of our motorhome. I have no problem with it. I appreciate some people don't want to because they don't want to drink water that's come into contact with plastic. I get that. But this will stop any infection or bacteria in your fresh water. Puriclean. Yeah. This lady's writing it all down. So if you go and see her after and take a photo of a list, it will save you a job. Anybody use this? We've got a few in the room, going to recognise you. This is amazing. So this is a toilet chemical which is completely environmentally friendly. We're used to using blue stuff or maybe green stuff. If you go on a campsite with a septic tank, it has to be green. This is green, but it's completely clear. You can even drink it. Don't. It's disgusting.
You haven't. You haven't.
Twice.
Oh.
And I'm fine. It tastes of essential oil, which is almost what it is. It's completely vegan. It's pro-bacterial. So what it does is, without boring you, it exacerbates the bacteria in your poo and wee and speeds up the rotting down process and turns it into compost. And you could actually pour it on your roses or on your grass. I don't recommend you do that in public, or it'll be you on that Facebook group. But this is amazing stuff, completely environmentally friendly. You must prep and rinse your cassette before you use it for the first time. John and Tasha here, they clean their worktop surfaces with it, don't you? It's called Solbio. We've got some here, and there's a show deal on it, of course. But it is amazing. It's completely safe for the environment. They are essential oil. So I was at a recent Warner show, and a couple bought it at a previous show and came and said, Matt, we've got a problem. We don't like the Solbio. We can smell the toilet. We don't like it. And I said, have you got any essential oil? I said, just pop one drop in your toilet. They came back the next day and said, Matt, what a game changer. We've left the bathroom door open in the evening. So, yeah, there we are.
We've just used our Solbio and it's eucalyptus.
It's a eucalyptus smell, you're right, yeah. Yeah, it is lovely. You can sort of rub it all over yourself. It's great. Bathroom cleaner. This is Thetford's own product. Now, this is not a marketing myth by Thetford. This is actually a really important cleaning chemical because it doesn't contain any bleach. It's really important you don't use Tesco's own bathroom cleaner like you might at home if it has bleach in it, which the Tesco's own brand often does. There is one, I think it's called Daisy, that doesn't have any bleach in it. Or you could buy this stuff, it's slightly more expensive, but don't use bleach on any of the plastics in your motorhome, especially in the bathroom, because you will stain them. They're very prone. I'm sure you've seen some motorhomes that
Yeah.
Thetford bathroom cleaner. There's a red one as well, and I think they've changed the colour from red to green. Some of the tops are red, we've noticed. So this lady's writing it down as well if this one's got a Q, so you'll be fine. Right, Peter, you keeping up? I've got 2 Solbios in here, 2 for 40 quid, so yeah. Right, next up we've got, why would you want to take one of these? Look at that. So don't use a match in your motorhome because the smell of sulphur will linger in the curtains, the soft furnishings. I bet you use matches, don't you?
Use matches.
See, terrible. Why are you giving this talk?
I've no idea. It saves a fortune. I don't have to buy all this stuff from you,
So
you see.
I wasn't allowed to bring ours in here from the motorhome because the guys are on the stand, they want to have a coffee and they want to light the hob. So I actually went to Tesco and bought this last night. They're about £1. So that's a really useful thing. I know most of your hobs will have an igniter, but they fail really easily. Has anyone had a failed igniter? How annoying is that when you want to get the kettle going? So we always take one of those, even though we do have a lighter. Do you want to talk about one of these?
What have you got?
Do you know what that is?
No. What is it?
Oh, okay. Some people know what this is. It's a fire safety stick. I'll show it works. No, I'm joking. Go on. So these are a kind of a revolution in the fire extinguishers. You can buy the normal ones in B&Q and Screwfix, and they're fine. They only last for about 10 or 30 seconds when you trigger them. This will last for 50 seconds. And this is ambivalent to the type of fire. So it will put out all electrical fires. It will put out a hob fire. One famously put out a fridge that was burning out. And there's a video on their website. I'm sure you've seen it. And all you do, there's a striker there. You hold the black bit, which is hollow, and strike the end and point it at the fire and stand back and do that. And it will put the fire out. They are about 70 quid. I don't know if, are they here? A fire safety stick here? Michael doesn't know, he's going to check the exhibitor list. If you do see them at a show, say Motorhome Matt, and they'll give you, I think it's 70 quid, they'll give you 60. So just, I did a deal with them a while ago. And they last 10 years. Yeah, well, your fire extinguisher, thank you, has to be serviced every year. Does anyone know how to service a regular fire extinguisher? Turn it upside down, turn it back up, turn it upside down, turn it back, do it 3 times, done. I paid someone 120 quid to do 12 fire extinguishers, and that's all he did, like that, at work. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm servicing your extinguishers. True story. Maybe he conned me, I don't know. So we're going to stick with fire safety for a bit. Have you got one of these in your van?
Yes.
Good boy. Carbon monoxide. This is actually, we found something Peter has got. This is a
It's
smoke
a small
alarm.
van. I haven't got space for
You've
all
got a
this
VW,
stuff.
haven't you?
Yeah.
It's really important that you have one of these. This is a smoke alarm, and really important you have one of these and a carbon monoxide alarm. Carbon monoxide, of course, is a silent killer. and you'll go to sleep, and if your boiler's generating CO, you will not wake up. And sadly, there are stories pretty much these days every year of people dying from carbon monoxide poisoning on a campsite, often because they brought the barbecue in the awning. So when your barbecue is that final stage, if it's a charcoal barbecue, obviously not a gas one, and it's cooling down, and you want to bring it in, because you think, oh, that'll keep us warm in the awning, all it's doing is generating carbon monoxide, and you are poisoning yourself to a slow and painless death. Sounds romantic, doesn't it? Right, Peter, have you seen these? I love these. I robbed the shop this morning. Do you recognise this?
It's a thing you have for Spain. You stick it on your roof. And
He's very good. It's a V16 beacon. Now,
That's
I don't know if I've got anything metal here that will work it. But anyway, this is going to flash. So if you suffer with epilepsy or anything like that, just close your eyes for a second. I'm going to activate it now. Anyone any objection if I do? Okay, so I'll turn it on. I bet I haven't charged it, have I? Hang on. Pull the little tab out. I told you I robbed the shop this morning. So there we go. So this is a V16 beacon. V16 means it flashes that colour at this pace and can be seen from a kilometre away. The second time you put it on, it's a torch because it's magnetic on the bottom. You can stick it on your bonnet and you could light an engine bay. Now, from the 1st of January next year, the warning triangle in Spain is no longer legally recognised. You have to have one of these. And guess what? We sell them. These have just been delivered from Spain. We buy them in Spain, so all the boxes in Spanish. But the best thing about it is there's a magnetic bottom, and lucky you. And you could, if you're in a car, you could stick it on the roof and it just comes on. You don't have to get out and place it on the floor. There's loads of stories of people being killed or injured placing their warning triangle behind their car. That's absolutely not true. But you all believed it, didn't you? But do you know how far you have to place a warning triangle behind your vehicle? Quite a long way. Any advance on quite a long way?
that's quite
Thanks,
specific,
Joe.
isn't it?
How many metres? 500 metres. That's like another postcode. 10 foot, no. So as per the highway code, 45 metres, which of course we all read last week, didn't we? There's always a driving examiner in the room when I ask that question, but not today. So yeah, one of these is, if you're going to Spain, you must have one of these, not the warning triangle. The warning triangle's fine with one of these now, but from the 1st of January, you have to have one of these. 20 quid, I think, or something. 25 to you.
Don't forget your reflective jackets for France, too.
Yeah, I haven't brought that. So I didn't want to deep dive into going to Europe. But there is a talk, because there is a talk on that. Kat's giving one most days. I'm giving one tomorrow, I think 3:30. So check the programme. Mine's obviously much better than Kat's. Mine's a bit more like this. Mine's all the props, whereas Kat's is all the intelligence. So if you're going to Europe in a motorhome and you're concerned or worried about it, go to both. And then let me know which one you preferred.
But only if you prefer his.
Yeah, only if you prefer mine. Right, one of these is really important. Tyre inflator kit. Have you got a spare wheel on your van? You don't know?
No.
You haven't, or you don't know?
I haven't, no.
So you'll find most of you probably haven't got a spare wheel and tyre for reasons of saving weight and cost, but weight saving, giving you more payload, to the ability to carry stuff. So it'll probably have a tyre inflator kit. This is an aftermarket one, Tyre World one, which is a really handy thing to carry around. They are next to useless, just to warn you, particularly if you have a blowout. That is not going to save the day. But if you had a screw in the tyre, this could save the trip. I'd recommend, if you have to use one of these, you still replace the tyre. I would not feel confident driving anything full of this, sealing a hole in it.
And if you're buying a new van, do have a good look and see if it actually has got a spare wheel or not.
Yeah,
because some have and some don't. And some, you've got space to put one in the garage and payload possibly to allow for it, but it still haven't given you one.
Yeah, there is some confusion online. I was asked this recently, and I tried to answer it definitively, is do I have to carry my jack and wheel brace if I don't have a spare wheel? I thought, what a great question. And so, well, why would you carry a jack and wheel brace if you haven't got a spare wheel? And in Italy, it was the case that you had to be able to change the wheel and continue forward travel. And I thought, well, that's interesting, because all these European cars, Fiats and Citroens, none of them have got a spare wheel. They've all got the tyre gel. So if you Google it, it will tell you, yes, in Italy you have to have means of carrying on. In other countries you need to have the tyre gel. But I don't know. I don't know what the case is. So if you can take a spare wheel, if I'm going to France and I've got the payload, I would, definitely, because it would be a sensible thing. And also make sure you've got one of these and test it before you need it. If you get stuck here, I fear some people might be being towed out on Sunday night or Monday morning after this weekend. It's a towing eye that goes in your front bumper. Actually screw it in and check it screws in. I've got a VW T6 with one of these that is a chocolate teapot because it doesn't fit the hole, which we discovered when I broke down. Brilliant. So yeah, test it first. Jump in, Peter. Feel free to carry on my list. I'm going to grab this one because I love these. Mirror protector of some sort. There's lots of makes out there. This is the type. This is made by Mirror Armour. This is the type that has the foam pads inside, and they go on the mirror, and there's a gap between this and the mirror surface. There's a brand called HTD that clip on really tightly. They do a chrome one, which I always chuckle when I see people. Has anyone got the chrome mirror covers on their van? It's like the posiest accessory you could buy. I love it.
I love the way you ask first.
Yeah, it's better I deliver the punchline. But we're safe, I think. But these offer a bit more impact protection because there's a gap between this and the mirror. Whereas the HTD ones, they're a lot cheaper, like 40 quid. There's no gap and not really any protection. As the owner of a motorhome hire company running 30-odd motorhomes, these are a must-have for our hire customers, because wing mirrors and rear corners, this doesn't offer much protection for that. But wing mirrors, certainly, I think my mic's gone off. Our shank, can you walk this back? We've got Michael syndrome. These are an essential, and they're typically about 100, 140 pounds. Depends if you buy them in Brownhills or not. Sorry, I said that out loud. We're not recording this, are we? I bet we are. But they are, 140 quid there. I haven't brought one, but a toolkit. A basic toolkit for your own technical ability is crucial. So whether it's just a box of spanners and screwdrivers, I'd say is really essential. I bet you carry a little toolkit.
I do carry a little toolkit. Probably can't use most of it because I'm not very mechanically minded.
No, that's what I mean, based on your own ability.
Yeah, there's no point in carrying stuff that you can't use.
No, absolutely no. So, but it's dead handy. Super glue. Man, the number of times that we've needed super glue, even if it's just glue in reading glasses.
Yeah.
I'm at that age now where, these
duct
things...
tape.
Yeah, well, hence I'm holding... This is some electrical tape. Put one of these in the van. I promise you will need it. Gaffer tape, like the black, dark on one side, light on the other, holds the universe together. It's called the Force. It honestly is such a useful little accessory to take with you. Right, what are we up to next? Oh, this is a good one. Power. I want to go electric. I found my spirit level. That one's broken. Don't buy that one. One of these. So have we all got a 12-volt cigar lighter in the van? Yeah. I get told off for calling it that. It's an accessory socket. You can answer it if you want, it's fine. Tell them you're busy. But it's a USB adapter. So you can charge phones, iPads, and so on. There's never enough USB sockets in our van, ever. So we fit these in the cigar lighter. You do get them sometimes installed in the van, and you can buy them to be fitted in your van as well. Well, what are we up to? Water carrier. That was something I thought of I didn't bring.
Yep.
Sometimes you need to bring water to your van. Find out how you top it up. Can you pour water straight into your freshwater tank? Because believe me, putting it in that filler neck from a container is really difficult. There's a chap here selling a little elbow. It's a bit of guttering, which is a genius element. He spends all winter making thousands of these things and comes and sells them at the shows. And they're like 4 or 5 quid. I've got one. They're really useful. Just an elbow of guttering. Stick it in your water filler cap and you can top it up from a water carrier. Has anybody got one?
Yes. Yeah, it's got a filter in it as well, isn't it?
He has put a little filter in it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, which is a very good idea. I put down here security stuff. Now, I was going to bring a wheel clamp, but I kind of ran out of space. But some sort of physical security on your van is really useful and I think a really good idea. But a word of warning, if you've told the insurance company, I bet you know this, that you're fitting it, they will require that it's fitted on a campsite. So in a fuel station, you're fine, it's covered. Don't leave the keys in the ignition. If it's nicked then, it is not insured. It's called keys to hand policy. Never do that. But if you're on a campsite, they will expect you to have fitted the security. Have you discovered this?
I have come across that.
Yeah.
If you don't tell them you've got things like that, unless in case you don't use it one day, and if you're fitting something on the steering wheel, that might impair turning the seat
Well, it does
round.
when you're driving, but I think that's the point. There's a great little security hack. It's fitting a disc lock for a motorbike or a big padlock. Spin the seat and pop one through the hole in the seat base, or drill the seat base and put a padlock in, which means the seat won't turn around, which makes the vehicle almost impossible to drive. You can drive it because you can sort of do this, but you're likely to get stopped. But the more visible the security, the better. When you're looking at external security is best, I think, wheel clamps. So here at the show, if you told your insurer you've got a wheel clamp, you should have that Chelsea boot on today. Because if your van was nicked from here, it might not be insured. So be warned.
Interestingly, insurance companies are now much more keen on these physical security items and saying that alarms are becoming almost useless.
Yeah.
And they prefer physical security that can be seen and tracking systems.
Well, that was my next one on the list, is a tracker. So if your motorhome is probably over 50k of value, the insurance company is probably going to want a tracker, aren't they?
Yeah.
And probably going to want a Thatcham approved tracker. And we've covered this at length in the last couple of weeks, actually. We did an expose on trackers and what is Thatcham? What's that all about? S5, S5 Plus, S7, absolute headspin. And the episode coming out on Monday is all about what to do if your caravan or motorhome is stolen and what a tracker company wants to know. I interview a chap who had a Coachman caravan, 50 grand's worth nicked, and the police did nothing. And he did get it back, but he shares his story as to what happened. So there's some really sage advice in there. I meant to bring them, I forgot. Fresh wipes. Anybody use fresh wipes? Tash is their biggest fan because she stinks. Before she's used them. So fresh wipes are a water-based, like a wet wipe. Have you used fresh wipes?
No.
I think you should.
Very kind of you.
It's too easy. He smells lovely. He smells of Solbia, actually. But they're a water-based wipe that, sometimes you don't want to use your water and have a shower. They're a brilliant product, and they're a lovely team of people behind the business, but they're completely environmentally friendly, and we use them in our van. We were on the Outer Hebrides, and we were on campsites, but we didn't always have water available to us, and we were being very water conscious, so we were using fresh wipes, and also something called Pits and Bits. Anyone use that? But yes, see, I told you she smells. It's Tash again. So Pits and Bits, these are amazing as well. We sell them on our stand because we love them. There's this tiny little pill. Don't ingest it because it looks like a tablet, doesn't it? You run it under the tap and it literally, it's round. I should have brought one. And you unwrap it and it becomes a flannel. It's amazing. And there's a shampoo, which is a liquid based. You pour it in your hand and lather it up. There's a shampoo and a shower gel, isn't there? You can rub yourself all over with it. It's really, really good. If you just want to freshen up, they are superb. And they're not expensive at all. And obviously, and something to open it. This one's empty.
I guess that. You just threw it.
Yeah,
You
bottle
drank
of
that
wine,
this
that's
morning?
essential. So those are my essentials. Have you got anything in your Waitrose bag?
I have got some things in my Waitrose bag. I was given this on a Bailey trip. It's a body rag, I think it's called.
On a Bailey trip, he gets that in.
And it's the best towel I've ever had.
Just tell us where you went with Bailey.
That was Morocco. It was horrible. You wouldn't have enjoyed it.
You love her. You had a great time, didn't you?
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Was it you that crashed the van?
No, I didn't crash a van.
Oh.
One of the drivers that Bailey employed had a bit of fun with a Ford Ranger pickup truck and got a bit carried away in the dunes, took the front bumper off it. But they did manage to get it back on, I think with some duct tape and string. But yeah. Body rag. Best, I think they are here, aren't they? Yes. Best towel ever. It doesn't take up much space and it gets you...
Have you used it?
I have, but not
Is
today.
it clean?
It's clean. Gets you really dry really quickly.
Lovely. How much are these?
No idea. Bamboo crockery. You can drop it and it doesn't shatter, and it's not like the horrible plastic stuff. I think that's great.
Yeah, it doesn't make a noise in the cupboard either. Although I'm in two minds about bamboo, I have to say.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it gets farmed to such massive levels. It's destroying loads of wildlife, and I'm in two minds about it.
Better than plastic, though.
Better than plastic, without a doubt, yeah.
And my favourite accessory, because I can't live without coffee.
It's like a grenade.
No, it's not a grenade. It's a hand presso coffee machine. They're quite expensive, but it gives you an espresso from a 12-volt cigarette socket, and I love it. That goes everywhere with me.
And what's it called?
Hand presso.
Oh, it's quite heavy. Hand presso.
You just put a little sachet in the top, a little bit of water, stick it in your 12-volt socket, and in a minute you've got an espresso.
Very
Can't
good.
live without that.
No. Well, shame I won't nick it then. Right, let's go for some essentials but luxuries. Now, you notice I haven't said television. We've actually taken the telly out of our van. We just never watch it. There's people clapping and cheering. That's weird. All it was for me is a source of a bruise on my head because we kept walking into it. It's a pain in the head. So we have a laptop, and if we want to watch something on television, we'll just stream it on the laptop. And I've brought this from our van. It's a little Falcon 4G combo, which gets you online really easily, or some sort of 4G device is a really good idea. You can tether to your phone, but my problem is I wander off to the toilet and then Strictly Come Dancing turns off because I'm gone and Jude's connected to my phone. So some sort of 4G connectivity, I think, is a luxury to have. A television might be, but really think about telly, because if you're having your first motorhome, are you really going to watch it? We found that we just don't watch it
A lot
at all.
more vans don't have TV brackets now. And
Really?
yeah, a lot of the new stuff that's coming out, they're not fitting TV brackets. And
Right.
when you look at some of the places they put them in the past, you think, well, you're sitting and looking at the TV like that.
Yeah.
They're just not practical. Whereas your laptop, it just goes on the table. It's
Put it on
much
the
more
table or on the
sensible.
bottom of the bed. That's
Yeah,
what we tend to
yeah.
do. Or an iPad, same thing. E-bikes. Man, what a game changer they are. We've got some Estali e-bikes. They fold up and the handlebars fold down, they fold in half, and they are amazing. We were in Suffolk and we did over 40 miles in one day, and I'm not a cyclist anymore, but they have been an absolute game changer for us. They have got us back on bikes, and this weird thing is that we actually look forward to riding a bike, only because they got a battery. If it didn't, no, I wouldn't be doing it. But think about bike rack, because e-bikes don't always fit on a bike rack and they're very heavy, but they've certainly been a luxury item that we take everywhere with us. Or an e-scooter. We've got any e-scooterists in the room? We've got a few, yeah. They can be really good as well. You wouldn't necessarily want to go as far on an e-scooter as you would an e-bike. My favourite e-scooter moment was at the Royal Cornwall Show, and Tash and I were on our e-bikes riding off to the exhibition stand, and John was following on his e-scooter and took a turn and went down a rabbit hole and just did this absolute flip over face plant straight into his face. That's not why he's wearing a mask, but he should be anyway. A torch which doesn't work, excellent. One that does work would be more useful, but on a campsite at night, it's really handy for getting yourself to
I
the
like a
toilet.
head torch, because
Do you?
if you've forgotten to empty the cassette, or you're trying to do something after dark, you've got both hands free then.
It's you. That's a very good. I can see what you're doing with your hands if you can't hold the torch. Pop-up stuff. Now this stuff, you've probably seen this in some of the shops. There'll be retailers here with it today. Have you seen this stuff? This is a washing up bowl. Look at that, genius. And the best bit about them is they pop flat for going back in the cupboard. You can buy kettles.
Yeah, pop-up
saucepans.
kettles essential.
Really clever. And I mean, this one is $11.99. There's big buckets. It's a great way of storing stuff away. Collapse is one of the brands, or Pop-Up is another one. Outdoor furniture. So it's a luxury item, but how many? I mean, Tesco here in Shepton Mallet, we were there yesterday buying the firelighter. They've got camping chairs there, £7. And I thought, blimey, that's giving them away. 2 for a tenner or something. It's at the end of the season, isn't it? But I got one out. And the lady came over and said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, really uncomfortable." They're horrible. They bite into the back of your legs. And why is it we spend 60 grand on a motorhome and then 10 quid on 2 chairs in Tesco to sit there and look at it, you know? Go and buy comfy chairs. You're going to spend evenings sat in them. It's really important you buy chairs that fit you and are comfortable. Have you even got chairs?
I have. And this is one I brought.
Is that a chair?
That is a chair. It's a Robin's Pilgrim chair.
Go on,
and
get
I
it
love
out.
that because we've got 2 of those in the VW and they take up no space.
You got to
at
put it
all.
up?
Can we see it?
Yeah, I can put it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, it's one of those. Ah, you're like one of those walker people. It's pretty low down, someone said. Yeah, but he's only a youngster, he can get up. We'll get him to prove it in a minute, and I'll hold the mic as he does it. Look at that. But that's not going to suit everyone though, Peter, is it? It's good, isn't it? Look at that. Very good, sir. Very good.
It's more comfortable than it looks, and we've got I can't remember what it's called, but we've got the high back version as well. This one I prefer for sitting at the table eating. The other one is more reclined, but they take up so little space, and obviously in a small van like ours, everything that takes up less space.
It's kind of like the ultimate Warwick Davis chair, isn't it, really? Quite low to the floor. Can I try? I can't get in there. Surely it's too low. Oh, actually, that's all right.
Yeah.
Of course, like a little hammock. You carry on.
What have we got next then?
It is a bit low. We've done comfy furniture. Oh, this one. These are a must-have. No. God, no, someone said. That's the lady writing the list. This won't be on her list. It's crossed out. The number of times I used to live in a caravan, right, post-marital breakdown, it was a mix of really lovely and crap. It was, and I would trudge across the field in the morning and to the shower block in my work shoes and my work trousers and ruined them because of the wet grass. You have to have a pair of these or a pair of wellies, but something that's waterproof that will help you get across the grass in the morning. If it's wet or if it's just dew, condensation. I bet you've got a pair of Crocs, haven't you?
No.
Why not? These have got sport mode and everything. These are really cool. Has anybody got one of these? I've seen quite a few wandering around. There's some dip wearers in the room. It often gets called a dry robe or a beach robe. These are amazing. For sitting outside the van of an evening, they become like the ultimate wear to go to Lidl in or Waitrose or walking the dog. This is mine, and I've got a bright orange one as well, which is in the van. But they are amazing. There's a number of people here that have them. They're waterproof, they're 100% recycled, even the zip's recycled, and they're waterproof, the same as a beach robe. They're made by Dip, and they're much, much, much lighter and cheaper than a beach robe by Dry Robe. So that's our must-have in the van. But it is a bit of a luxury item. Solar panels. Do you want to talk to us about solar panels? Do I need one?
Depends on your van,
You've
doesn't
got
it?
one.
I've got one on my VW. We had 2 weeks in France, just in August. And I thought, when I booked the site, we were 10 days on the same site, they wanted 45 quid for electricity. I thought,
What, just electric?
just for electric. For 10 days, they wanted 45 quid for electric.
Okay.
I thought, why am I paying
Quite
for
a lot.
that? So I didn't bother.
That's almost as much as Warner's charge for our stand.
Because we've got the solar panel on the roof, and you know, in a small van, we've got the fridge running off the 12 volt,
Yep.
the lights, not much else really, water pump, I suppose. It was fine.
Yeah, but a solar panel's more than 45 quid.
Oh, yeah.
How much was the solar panel?
But the solar panel came with the van,
Yeah.
so
Which was probably given you by someone.
it wasn't, sadly.
No.
No. I wish.
So how much was your solar panel?
I have no idea.
You don't know.
It was,
Someone's asked how big is it?
it's 100 watt one, I think.
Okay, yeah. And how long does that take to recharge your battery?
It never goes flat.
Oh, okay.
Battery never goes flat because the van's parked on the drive. It's getting
So it
benefit.
stays topped up all the
Yeah,
time.
and the beauty of it is when we're going away, we just flick the fridge on the day before,
Yeah.
and compressor fridges are cold in no time at all anyway, but it's not flattening the leisure battery out because it's being topped up by the solar, and I don't need to plug it into the mains.
Don't need a hookup cable.
Pardon?
What about?
It's always getting something, as long as it's not parked under trees. Yeah, and obviously getting more benefit from it in the summer or when it's not like this.
Yeah. It's not a good day for solar today.
No.
So then the next one I put here was lithium batteries. So this is a big topic that, it's like a keeping up with the Joneses topic, it seems. They're like, if you're, is anyone here camping for the weekend? Yeah, quite a few of you. So I guarantee you, around you will be people who've had a lithium battery install. Do I need to have one? Is it an essential? Is it a luxury item? Or
I think it's definitely a luxury item, and it depends entirely how you use your van. It's a bit like the solar, isn't it? I mean, you can go mad with umpteen solar panels on the roof, and upgrading to 2, 3, 4 lithium batteries. But if you're the sort of person that goes onto a club site and plugs into the electric, it's all a waste of time. If you're the sort of person that goes around France in the winter and stays on airs and never hooks up, then
so airs are off grid, no hookup.
Yeah, or if you're just wild camping.
You said it, wild camping.
Yeah.
Don't use that term. Off-grid camping.
Okay.
We'll get told off. So has anyone here got a lithium battery? Yeah. Guys from Life Beyond Bricks got 10. And you love yours, don't you? Yeah. I've got one, which John fitted for us in our van at the Royal Cornwall Show just after the e-scooter incident. So it's covered in blood. And we love it. It's brilliant. The best bit about it is the Bluetooth app. So they have a battery management system, and I can connect to it, and I can turn it off, I can turn it on, and I can monitor its battery level. And the other thing that's impressed me most about it is how quickly it recharges. So we'll run it here. We're not doing anything heavy in the van. We're not running an inverter to run a coffee machine or anything like that, but it'll probably end up about 60%. We only live 25 minutes away, and I bet in that time it's recharged it back to full. They charge so fast.
Yeah, they charge really quickly. The other thing I think that's coming more and more is that people are talking about gas-free campervans and motorhomes.
Yeah.
And I've just seen one where it fitted microwave, double induction hob, and an air fryer with no gas in the van at all. And obviously then your consumption of electricity is quite amazing.
High,
and it was, I think, 4 lithium batteries, massive inverter.
And so just explain then, why would people want to go gas-free?
Well, then you're not using, you're not requiring gas cylinders. You're not having to change them, or gas refills becoming more difficult as petrol stations stop selling LPG. And some people prefer all the electric.
And I guess
cooking.
you're not using fossil fuel.
Not using fossil fuels, no.
It depends how the electric's generated, I suppose, doesn't it? Solar panels are all free, that's true. Well, the solar panels aren't free. So
the solar power's free, but the panels
the
are.
sun in the sky is free at the moment anyway. Let's see what Kia has in mind. I'm sure they'll come up with something. I did bring some fresh wipes. There we go, Tash, catch. Sort your smell out. Right, this. I love this. I am joking, thank you, John. She smells lovely. So this is a Balkan dry, right? Having an error in your van. Yesterday, we were trying to set up. Man, it rained. Did anyone arrive yesterday? Yes. Boy, oh boy. It was a nightmare, putting up gazebos and trying to put chairs on display. It was just a joke. And then, of course, we're all soaked. And so we get in the van, you're trying to dry clothes. And people say, I just dry them on the bike rack. Really? Yesterday? Not going to happen. I love this. This is recycled plastic. This is a brand new one. It's got suckers on, and you can see it suckers to your side of your van or inside in the shower on the plastic wall. And the washing lines, I know it's good, isn't it? The washing lines are adjustable in width, up to 1.5 meters, and you stick it like that. You can use one, and this is how this product was inspired. It's British designed. You know those hangers in the hotel wardrobe that don't have a hook? They're not worth stealing. They are now. because they slide in there, and you can put a hanger on it and hang your towel. I think they're a genius little idea, 20 odd quid, I think. And or some sort of error in the van. It's a bit of a luxury item. I know, it's really exciting. But being able to hang clothes inside is really important. You might find, like us, we've got a little hanging rail above our shower. Have you got one in yours? You haven't got a shower.
I haven't got a shower, so hanging rail in the shower
Can I
would be
have those
quite
fresh
difficult.
wipes back? Don't you? But we've got a rail in the top of ours, and they're held in. It's held in with the most ridiculous self-tapping screws, and one that towel soaking wet would rip it clean out the ceiling. So just be mindful of that before you start hanging wetsuits and stuff in your shower. Check your rail is fitted really well. Right, what else we got in here? This is something that I missed earlier. This is something called a gas stop. Now I'm on record singing praises. Have you heard of this?
Not sure.
Have you not? I'll educate Peter. I'm actually going to teach him something. This is like the godfather of the motorhome industry. So this is a gas safety device that if you have a gas leak over above 10% of the normal flow in your gas system, it will shut off immediately. And it has a gauge on the top. How many times have you tried to pick up that LPG caliber bottle and gone, how much is left in there? There's a gauge on the top and it measures the pressure. It's a dynamic pressure. So when it's in the red, there's probably about half an hour of use left, thereabouts. So it's still a bit of a guess, but at least it's an indicator. But you can also do a gas pressure test on your system. Just fire the gas system up, make sure all the appliances are off, prime it by squeezing it, leave it for 5 minutes, come back, and if the needle hasn't moved, you haven't got a gas leak. And suddenly you're a habitation engineer, because that's basically a manometer, which is what they use to test for a gas leak. It's a really essential safety device. It only works with LPG bottles. You screw it on the end of your pigtail, shove it in your bottle. Really, really essential. I'm a big fan. Sorry? Gas stop. If you head to that leisure shop, we've got them on there. You can have a look and I'll tell you how it works. And look, these are the pills. This is a Pits and Bits. I used these for the first time in the Out Hebrides, and I thought, really? No, you're joking. They sent me some as a sample. That's the flannel. And if I get it wet, it's incredible stuff. And these are the little shampoos and the shower gel. And I'll show you. They really lather up. Come here, Tash. Can you see it's really, I don't know what I'm going to do now, but...
You didn't think that through, did you?
Buy your towel.
Fresh white.
Yeah, fresh white would do it. But it lathers and then it just disappears. It dries. So you don't even need a towel. So if I keep doing it, it's amazing stuff. Have you tried this?
I haven't tried
I think
it.
you should. Yeah, Pits and Bits. I don't know about stuff like that. On the flannel. So on the flannel. So it's just a freshen up thing, really. And then a couple of things to think twice about before we go to some questions. We both agree privacy rooms. A privacy room goes on your awning, you know, the sun canopy. You can buy a room that goes on it, and the number of part exchanges I've received where someone says, oh yeah, it's a privacy room in the garage. We've only put it up once in the dealership when they showed us how to use it. They're a waste of money, I think.
They take forever to put up.
Loads of space.
Once you put them up, you can't move your van.
Yeah, yeah,
So
true.
if you put them up and then discover that you haven't got any water in the fresh tank, you've got to take it all down again to move the van.
You need that little 90-degree thing.
Yeah.
So I would be careful about buying a privacy room, and even an awning.
Roll-out awnings, when we bought our van, it didn't have one, and my wife absolutely insisted on it. When I go away with the kids, I never, ever roll it out. When I go away with my wife, we always roll it out because she likes it for the shade.
Oh, yeah.
One of those things, don't think you have to have one.
No, if you're going south, you will crave shade, won't you?
Yeah.
They're really useful.
But with a small van, we've got an inflatable freestanding awning, and that is a godsend. Space to put all your stuff when you arrive on site, just dump stuff in there. And so much better than the old frame awnings. Yeah. Because I'm not a tent person. I never liked tents, but the inflatable awning is great.
Yeah, they are good. Yeah, they are good. And my number one waste of money, and I think these are hilarious, has to be the portable washing machine. Has anyone ever bought one? You bought one. Darren, what did you buy one for? No, I'm talking to Darren. And was it good? Was it worth money?
I washed
Good value.
In my mum's kitchen.
They're like a blue plastic thing. They are utterly useless. I bought one. I was guilty of having one. Rubbish. Don't bother. Don't bother. Anyway, I think we got some time for some questions. We
I'm
haven't.
afraid not.
Okay.
But I presume you'll be on your stand.
I'm
next.
on the That Leisure Shop stand 129.
And tomorrow we have our Q&A session. So if
Yeah.
they come back at 1:30 tomorrow,
Yes.
it's you and Keith.
So my co-presenter Keith is here tomorrow. If you want to meet him, he'd love to say hello, and we are going to record a live Q&A. So we've had, I think, over 100 questions pre-submitted for it. You can still do that. It's in your confirmation email. There's a link to it from Warner's, or come along and we will run a mic around the room. But we've only got about 45 minutes, so it'll be interesting to hear what questions you've got, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.